What is going on, everybody? BobbyFi with Eric Tabor. We're going to be talking a little of the U.S. Open. Want to remind everybody we've got some free trials that are going to be expiring soon. I know a lot of people have loved those ultimate free trials. It's got the ultimate SaberSim package. It's got you get all of Sheets' projections, all of Goldie's projections, all of my content, Rody's, Brandon Cruz for NASCAR, and it's literally like where we're charging basically like within a few dollars of SaberSim, but also you can check it out for the free pack if you want to. So wanted to remind you guys that. With that said, it's U.S. Open time. Sheets. Overall thoughts before we get into the tiers and the sections and everything who we like.
Well, let me add a couple of other things to what you said about the site. So the other thing that you guys can hopefully look forward to is with any luck, we're putting a little money into the site. We're trying to upgrade the performance of it a little bit, make things a little bit faster, make things a little more efficient. I have this software guy that's working with the software guys here at TrueDFS to hopefully make things better. Just stuff that for those of you who've never done a site, it's like so hard. And these things that just seem to the average eye to see, why don't you just do this? Why don't you fix this? It's not as easy as you think. So we have guys that are working on that, hopefully make things a little bit smoother and better. And again, the same guy is working with me also to try to automate my projections, meaning that, with the exception of like tweaks that I make, I can at least automate my initial process to at least get something uploaded if I'm not around. And I actually don't believe he can do it, but he says that he can. So maybe I should just, instead of playing DFS, I could just make money side betting on whether he could actually make that work. So we'll see. But we do have some stuff that's in the offing, and hopefully one of us wins $1 million in the U.S. Open, so we could help pay for it. So
absolutely, that's what we're looking for here. So let's see if we can get it done. All right. So look, it's obviously it's going to be a really tough course. It's going to be a tough week. Around the green play seems to be very, very important. A lot of creativity, as usual with the U.S. Opens. You're also going to want distance. So there's a lot of things to look at here.
Yeah.
All right, let's start it off here, Sheets. What are some of the plays you like above this 10K range? Because they all seem pretty.
So what I'm going to do, what I'm not doing today, I'm not sharing my projections here because I mean they're not free, and so these are the SaberSim ones, which they don't mind us showing right now. They're probably going to change anyway. But what I am going to do is, as we go through each tier, I'm going to go through because right now I do have a build already, and I might change it. I'm actually going to do a live lineup build at like 11 o'clock tonight when we go live. But I kind of like the way it looks right now. So what I'm going to do is, as I go through these tiers, I'm going to go over like where I'm just kind of leveraged right now. So in the 10K and up range, I do have exposure to Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau, and Schauffele. I have very little, if any, Rory, and I have very little, if any, Brooks, and I think that's going to be the holy war here. Of these top guys, I'm pretty much with the field, I guess that you would say, on Scheffler. I have like 35% of him right now, and they're showing a 40% ownership. Like I'll live with that as an ownership projection too. Whatever. I think it could be lower, but it's right around there. I mean, a lot of casuals are playing. Scheffler's the best, and you can get him in. So all those lead to high ownership. So I'm getting probably with the field on him. DeChambeau, I guess I'm over on him. If you believe this ownership projection of 8%, I'm significantly over that. I mean, I have right now, it's like 30% Bryson. So I guess that's pretty significant leverage there.
That's a pretty significant one.
Yeah. So DeChambeau and Scheffler, and then Xander, I'm under actually. I have like 15% of him, and then very little of if any, of Rory or Brooks.
So I have Brooks by far the most. And I love Brooks this week. I think that this is, he had one bad Saturday at the last Open, the best major. I'm totally in on Brooks when people are going to be out on it, and sort of similar like what you're saying about DeChambeau. I think Brooks being even lower owned. I'm in on it. I think this is a perfect spot for Brooks. And I have no real idea why. I guess it's just the guys around him is the reason why no one's going to play him. And he had one bad round in the last major. But so sign me up for Brooks. Scotty, I'm with the field. Rory, I am below the field. Xander, I am below the field. Bryce, I've got about 20%, and he's, like you said. So I like the Brooks and Bryce and Scotty are the ones who I guess I'm going with from this range the most.
Here's the other thing I would say. Again, I'm not going to put my own sheets up here right now, but I'll just say that I'm not even remotely in the same ballpark as Saberson on some of these. I'll give you this one. I mean, I have DeChambeau at 16% projected.
And Goldie's got him at 14, which makes sense.
I think that somewhere in there makes a lot more sense than this 7. So
I agree with you totally.
Anyway.
All right. The 9Ks. We don't have very many of them.
That's totally that. We don't have that many of them. Let's see who I have. So I'm gonna be with the chalk here, and I'm gonna be going down with the ship with the Morikawa. I got a ton of him right now, like 60% of that, and I guess logically because of that, I own much else from these guys. Like I got a little bit of Aberg, like with the field, sort of like 13% or something like that. Hovland, I tell you, I have much less than the field, and I'll tell you, this one's a little scary for me. Like I have 8% of him, and I'm showing at 17% ownership. I guess that's why I don't have as much. But I'll tell you, man, this is this. I've seen some interviews with him. It looks like, I don't know. Again, as far as the data goes, it looks just kind of okay to me. I just feel as though he's going to just know what to do on this course. Remember, it's a course that listen, they haven't played it here at the U.S. Open since like 2014 or something like that. So you have to be able to take advantage of your practice rounds like pretty aggressively. And from what I'm hearing, I mean, these are like anecdotal, but did like a practice round with I think with the guy who knows more about this course than anybody else, and Hovland's very analytical about everything. I don't know, like it feels as though it's a Hovland week for some reason. I don't know how else to describe this. And then I see the 18% ownership. Like, I'm just not doing it.
I was annoyed by the ownership because I had the same feeling. So
right.
I actually still am going to play him though. I have a ton of Morikawa and Hovland. I've got Morikawa. I've got 30% of him, and I've got 23% of Hovland right now. I am going to go out on a limb and take a shot with Wyndham.
With who?
Wyndham Clark.
Okay.
Because I mean, like he's obviously won the last US Open, and it's nothing to do with this course or anything like that. I just think he's better than he's been playing, and I think that there's a chance of him finding himself. And I think you're going to get like no ownership on the guy. So I'm willing to take a little gamble there. Not above anyone else in this range, but those are the 3 that I have.
The other thing I would say, by the way, and I know that you kind of dismissed that. You said, well, he won it last year, but that doesn't matter. It does. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Because human beings are human beings, and he's the defending US Open champion in his, that's on his resume. And every single tournament he loses, he could say, you know what? I got the US Open coming up. That's what I'm known as. And this is the one that he's been pointing to like pretty much the whole year. I mean, obviously anything he wins is great, but in the back of his mind is US Open. And the reason I mention that is that, as I mentioned before, this course requires like preparation a lot of people don't have. And if you have a guy who's specifically been all over like preparing for this course somehow, I mean, I don't know what he does in the background, whatever it is, but I think the fact that he won it last year does give him, I would say motivation, because they're all motivated to win, but I think a little extra preparation from him for this particular tournament would not be out of the question.
I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So I'm happy to hear that, because that's where I'm going. All right. Down in the 8Ks, what do you got here?
Yeah. So in the 8Ks, I have a couple of guys that I have more than 10% of. Tommy Fleetwood, I have the most of this range. I have him at about 24%. I have him, where is he projected? About 15. I guess that makes sense. And then I have Hideki at 20%, and that's slightly above the field. And then the other one I have is Fitzpatrick. I have him at 18%. I think that people are going to play him, but oh boy, it's just only 10% here. That's interesting. So, but those are my 3 guys: are Fleetwood, Fitzpatrick, and and Hideki, and there's a lot of other guys several other guys that you can make cases for. So maybe you want to make a case for some of these others.
Yeah, so I guess that it's a weird one because I like a lot of things and you can't play everybody, but I have Fleetwood and Fitzpatrick as my two favorites from this range anyway. So we're in lockstep on that one, but I also do like Cam Smith a lot, and I understand the concerns based on how he's looked. We've just had this conversation enough times with him. Like since he joined Live, we said it right before the match. Oh, Cam Smith would be a terrible play. How can people play Cam Smith? He ended up 0-owned. And he was ended up finishing tied for 6th. You know what I mean? Like, he's an artist type of golfer. He's not as long as some of these other guys, but I really like him. So Fleetwood, Fitz, and Cam Smith are my 3 favorites. But I don't want to have no exposure to Justin Thomas. I know that sounds weird. I still think that he's starting to play better. I definitely want to have some exposure to Max Homa. And I definitely want to have a little bit of Zalatoris and Finau as well as Hideki. So I'll probably be underweight those last guys I mentioned, but I'll definitely have like 5 or 6%. I'm not going to just ignore any of those guys. I'm going to have some exposure to all of them basically, but the main ones will be Fitzpatrick, Fleetwood, then Cam Smith for me. All right, 7,500 to 7,900.
Well, I mean, first of all, you tell me that Tyrrell Hatton's literally going to be 2.4% owner.
I don't know what that's about.
I don't know what that is. And I have it 10, and I think it could be higher than that.
Yep.
Actually, I have. Are we doing 7,500 and up?
Yep.
So I have 45% of Tyrrell Hatton right now.
Ooh, love it.
So, and I don't know how much of that is because he's showing a 2% here. So we'll just see. And then
he'll probably end up like close to 10. I
think so. Yeah. And then I think, and aside from that, I have I'm just kind of obviously with the field maybe a little above on Sahith Theegala. And then after that, I'm just kind of I don't have any of the others. There's only like 5 in this range, so those are really the 2 that I have. And that's Hatton and Theegala.
Yeah, my main ones are the same. Hatton, Theegala for sure. Love them both staples for me. So I'm very high on them, and I'm very tired of the Cam Young just killing me every time. I don't understand why Jordan Spieth gets played as much as he does. So I'm just gonna, again, I'll probably have like a lineup or 2, but it's not going to be a priority of any kind. But yeah, really just Theegala and Hatton as my priorities here. Also Shane Lowry, by the way, somehow shot an 80. I know the course was tough, but he shot an 87 on Sunday after literally being in contention for a top 5. And he took me out of contention with my lineup that ended up finishing like 50th in the $5. And all I just needed was a good day from him to at least have a chance. But anyway, we move on. 7K to 7,400.
All right. So when you look at this, just kind of you eyeball this whole slate actually. There's a couple of guys that kind of just stand out as like, whoa, I can't believe it's that cheap or whatever. But and when I looked at it, I saw that Sungjae Im was 7,100. And I said, wow, that just seems awfully cheap. But at the end of the day, I'm really not getting to too much of that. But I'll tell you what I am doing. I'll go in reverse order because my highest owned relative to whatever else is in this range. I'm getting, about with the field on Sam Burns, actually a little bit higher, like 15% on Sam Burns. I'm getting about 20% of Benny On, and he's projected for 13, so that makes sense. I'm getting a full 25% of Tom Kim. Looks like he's showing 15 or whatever it is. So I'm getting a full 25% of him. But, and what can I say? I'm currently getting 47.1% of Minwoo Lee in this tournament.
Oh my God! Here we go.
So
okay.
That's the way it's got to be, I guess. If you want to win the Millie, you got to take a stand on something, and I'm just happy that I'm getting there kind of with my own stuff. I almost don't even want to run any other builds because if I run other builds, I'll end up probably with more like spread out stuff, and then I'll end up fighting with the field of everybody else. I think I'm just kind of gonna jam this and hope. Doesn't seem like the right thing to do. You want to have some of this a little bit more depth around the greens, but hits the ball pretty far, so that's good. And that's just kind of what.
Yeah, I think that you've definitely got more exposure to this range than I do. That's a big one. I like I feel fine with those guys with Minwoo, Tom Kim. I'm totally good with. Actually, I'm above the field on both of them, but not by much. And Sam Burns is the other one for me. All the other ones are more flimsy. I don't mind the Sung Jae or Benny On, but I'm not really getting to as much of it. And I think it's fine though. I do think that Sung Jae, is totally fine. And I hate to say the word safe when it comes to these things, but like he feels like a safe-ish play at 7,100. But yeah, mostly it's going to be Kim, Burns, and Minwoo for me. That's pretty much where I'm at there. So and then we've got a slew of guys under 7K.
Yeah, under 7K, you got a few model darlings in here that we're used to playing at higher prices. And I'll talk about those, and then I'll talk about the guys that have like the most of. So when you just first look at this, you're like, Russell Henley 6,900 really, but you could say that like so many guys, like
yeah,
Adam Scott. I mean, Harmon, Bradley. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Let's put it that way. So I'm just gonna say who my top guys are. I guess from the 15% up, I guess, because I have a couple. Remember, I usually don't play this range too often, but I am getting 17% Henley, and I think that's going to be probably with the field. I'm getting about 18% Bradley. That's probably with the field too. But then I'm getting 27% of Dean Burmester. And if you didn't like any of that, I'm getting 46.5% of Sepp Straka. So that's where I'm rolling this week, and we'll just see how it turns out.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I don't have the same percentage as you do, but I've got like 20% Straka. I know he's going to have some ownership. I like a lot of things under here. Again, I'm going back to him after he let me down last week. No problem with it. Going right back to Taylor Moore at 6,600. I like Kitayama. I like Batia a little bit.
Yep.
And I like the aforementioned Russell Henley and Burmester as well. But my favorite might end up being Keegan Bradley. And I definitely want to be well overweight that one. Down at the bottom of the range, I've got a lot of different exposures here because I'm double spending up in different cases or spending 3 in the mid range and stuff. Cam Davis is another one that I've got some exposure to. Not like a crazy amount. Pretty much everybody else is sort of. Oh, the one who I think is interesting, and I didn't really get to him in my first run, but I'm going to go out of my way to do is maybe Gary Woodland. Maybe Gary Woodland down here at the bottom at 6,300 at 0 ownership. He's had, he's been streaky since he's come back from the back injury, but he's started to look better at times, and I think that maybe we could take a shot on him here. So, and the other one, sorry, I know there's a lot. I said this, but Zayden Hoot is going to be popular, and I like it. I'm in on it. I also am in on Steven Yeager.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, I'm playing a ton of guys down in this range, and probably a lot of guys around 10%, but I can't just ignore all of them. Adam Hadwin looked amazing last week, and it's hard not to have, some interest in some of these guys. And I think that, I think 2 of these guys are going to end up there. The other one that I went way overweight on, who's just in literally the best form of his life is Victor Perez. And so I've got a lot of guys in that range for me. It was not an easy decision to, again, I'm going to have little bits of exposure to a bunch of them. That's just the way it is.
So I don't have a lineup with anybody under 6K in it. Out of 150. So I'm going to leave that one to you, but I do have one in my back pocket that I'm going to give you when we go to who's going to make the cut. So let's so you can start.
All right, I'm going to say that, look, I don't love these guys. They're just little bits of them. Nick Dunlap, Mac Meisner, Martin Keimer.
Martin Keimer.
That's probably a miss on my part, but wow. I had somebody said something about him at this course. Again, I got to look into it. I had him.
Well, I think he won this course back in like 1990 when he won the U.S. Open.
I think so too. But I have him like I have like a little like note on him anyway.
Okay.
So that doesn't mean I'm going to end up with more than 1%, but I might end up with 1% as possible. Ben Coles, Brandon Wu, but nothing that's a priority. It's going to be just. Look, if I can't get them, I'm not like trying to force them in as I was before. Gracerman would be another one I would consider. Rico Hui, again, not that thrilled about it. Don't think I need to do it. So I'm probably I'm naming guys who I'm considering. I'm not naming guys who I'm necessarily playing. The only one I know I'm going to play at least some of for sure is Dunlap, just because I want to bet on the young guy as he's on his way up. All right. So now we get to play the game.
Yep.
And so we're going to have to do a friendly bet on one of these things.
Yeah, sure. We should yeah, who we have though. That's all.
I think I have all the sheets somewhere, but I don't know. Let's see. Wait, here we go. Oh, last one we did pretty damn good. Huh. All right. So what do you like? Who do you like to win the tournament? Which feels like a silly question.
Well, it's not that silly because you know what? If I'm going to have 64% of a guy, I'm going to tell you say he's going to win the tournament. So I'm going to say Colin Morikawa.
Oh wow! Okay, there you go. So you take more. You're taking Maury. I'm taking Scheffler. I know it's stupid, but the only reason I don't want to do it is because I want to use the other guy. But whatever. I'm taking Scheffler, but I will let you know that I'm going to have as much Brooks as I do Scheffler this weekend, probably.
All right, under 10K, I guess, to make top 5.
Under 10K to make the top 5. I have got. I was going to go with Morikawa. But because
that's allowed if you want.
I just like to do it different. So I'll take Hovland, but Hovland with the nod to Morikawa, I guess.
Yeah, I like Hovland as well. So I will go with and I already used Morikawa for this one. There's nobody left. Oh, actually I have to go in the 8s, right? Yeah, we're gonna step it up, I guess. I'll go with top 5. He never makes top. Actually, that's not true. He'd be top 5. I'll take Fleetwood. Why not?
All right. So now
another guy under 9K. How about to make the top 10?
Well, you just took top 10 Tommy from me.
Yeah.
But I've got another one for you. I'm taking Fitzy.
Fitzpatrick. Okay.
Yeah.
And I will take then Hideki Matsuyama.
Hideki. Okay. And then we will get down to the
under 8K for top 20.
I know who you're going to say, and I want to take him, but no. Why don't you go first? Because you take your guy, and then I'll go.
Yeah,
that.
I mean, quite honestly, to make the top 20 for real, even though I have like 47% or whatever of Lee, I'm going to say Terrell Hatton.
Yeah, that's honestly who I would have said too. Yeah. But I also like the Gala here, so I'm going to say him.
Under 7K, and then we'll do it under 6K. So under 7K to make the cut.
Yeah, they're all going to make the cut.
How are they all going to make it though? It's like
I know. I'm going to. Well, because it's the 5K range that throws you off. So I think that the right answer is, again, I'll let you use your guy because I really like him too, but I think it's fair because you've got more of him than I do. So I'm going to say Keegan Bradley, and I think that you're going to say the one who you've got.
No, I'm not going to go Straka. If it's to make the cut, I'm going to go Henley.
Oh, good point, Henley. Yeah.
So under 6K, you want give me someone under 6K.
Straka finishes like top 10 every week. Under 6K, I guess I'm going Nick Dunlap, but it's really out of just not. Oh, I guess. I forgot one other guy who I'm playing a little bit of under 6, which is Svensson, but I'm going to take Dunlap over Svensson.
All right, so I got one. So under 6K, again, it's part of this narrative. Like Hovland was playing like his practice rounds with this guy who was one of the Ryder Cup captains or vice captains, who was essentially like Mr. Analytics nerd, or like for the European team. And again, for a course like this, I think that if you look at it from an analytics perspective, you'll have an edge over people that just, other people that haven't played the course or whatever. So they were talking, and Rick was talking about, that's one of the reasons we really like Hovland, was that he was getting practice rounds with this one particular guy. But I'm like, why don't you just play that guy? So I'm going to try Francesco Molinari.
You're going to try. So wait, the old Molinari.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the other Eduardo is in it too.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right, Molinari it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a note though too of one other guy who you could consider who's been just unbelievably awesome lately, even though he hasn't been playing on the PGA Tour, is Harry Higgs. He's just been on fire. He had like 4 top 3s in a row or whatever. He won back-to-back weeks. Like he's just a guy who's been hot that I'll take a shot on because he weighs like 600 pounds and I love the guy. All right, so we need an over 9K to miss the cut. Oof, there's not that many guys over 9K this week. What is happening? Guys, what happened to my? Oh, that's why. Okay, there's enough. Okay, let's see. John Rahm doesn't count, huh?
No, I don't think so.
Probably the most likely one is the one that I'm taking. I'm going to say Wyndham, even though I'm going to make a note that I'll be well above the field in Wyndham at the start of it. But he's the most likely, I think.
And this could be piling on, but I'll go with Cantlay.
I figured that was what it was. Okay, so we got Wyndham and Cantlay for the missing. All right. Well, it should be a lot of fun. I'll post my exposures a little bit later. It worked yesterday for baseball. Maybe it'll work for golf. So
yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, the 53% of Randall Grichuk it certainly paid off.
There you go.
All right, man. Good luck to everybody this week, and hopefully we see some screenshots and have a fun sweat over.